All right, we're going to look at filling out a back view, and this is number 6 on mine. Back view that has a shelf and has an adjustable shelf down in the bottom cavity. So if we take a look here at the front view, that's a shelf up here, okay? And then down where the door is going to be, that's an adjustable shelf that's going to be there. So we're going to look at how to fill this out. Again, this is number 6 on mine. It may be different if there's other versions in here, but just make sure you look at the instructions down here in the notes section to identify how this is different than the other ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and start with the outside dimensions. So for this cabinet, it's 30 inches tall. So I'm going to come right here and I'm just going to type in 30 inches and put the inch mark so that we are working in the right unit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the overall width of the cabinet. That's 23.5 inches. So if I come up here and look right here, this measurement is my overall width from outside to outside, and that's what this is here. So 23.5 is going to go here, 23 and 1 space divided by 2, okay? So 23 and 1/2. You can type that 23 space 1 divided by 2, or you could put 23.5, whatever you prefer. Okay, so now we need to do some math. Now we're on our own. No more sizes are going to come off there for these next two. Okay, so what we're looking for is how wide this is. If we take 23.5, and we need to know how big it is from inside to inside. If we take a look, this plywood right down here tells us it's 3/4 of an inch wide and 3/4 of an inch wide. So 3/4 plus 3/4 or 75 cents plus 75 cents is $1.50 or 1.5. So we're going to take 23.5 minus 1.5 or 1.5 inches. So that's going to be 23.5 minus 1.5 inches would be 22. So we're going to put 22 right here, 22 inches. And then what we're going to do is we need to figure out how long these shelves are that are dadoed in. If we read right here, it tells us that it's notched into the plywood 3/8 of an inch, and it's going to be notched in over here 3/8. So 3/8 and 3/8 is 3/4 total. So we're going to take 23.5 minus 3/4 of an inch, and that number is going to go here. So 23.5 minus 3/4 is 22 and 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so that's where we got those two. We had to do some math by looking at the plans and seeing how far things are in. Now we're going to look at this bottom shelf down here. Okay, we're going to need to put in this size. If we come over here to the front view and look on this particular plan, this line right here is going to be about approximately the same height as this shelf. Now, we don't want any chance of this shelf sticking up above here, so we're going to drop the shelf 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to look over here. I'm getting 3.5 inches tall, so we're going to drop this shelf right here to 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to put 3 7/16 of an inch. Okay, 3 7/16 is where I'm getting that size. Okay, and that's because I dropped it 1/16 of an inch from this dimension. Okay, so now my shelf is going to sit 1/16 lower, and when we're done building, we can come in with the flush trim router bit and router that off. Now, the same thing applies up here. I want this shelf up top to sit just 1/16 behind this face frame. That way, I don't have any chance that the plywood is going to stick up above here and be seen. So I have 8 inches plus 1.5 inches. That's 9.5. And so 9.5, and then I'm going to add that 1/16 on. So 9 and 9/16 of an inch. And again, the reason that that is 9 and 9/16 is because I want it to sit 1/16 lower behind this face frame. And I have an 8-inch opening, and I have an 1.5 inch top rail. So that's 9.5 plus we want to drop it 1/16. That's going to be 9 and 9/16. All right. So if you have any questions on how to fill out the back view with adjustable shelf in the bottom and a fixed shelf on top, then please talk to your instructor and they can get those questions answered.